Howdy, YouTube. Well, it's been a while since my last video. As you can see, I've moved since then. But what are you gonna do? Anyway, today I wanted to talk about one of my special interests, I guess you could say, the 1977 animated version of The Hobbit. It was something I think I saw at least once growing up. Uh, maybe on TV. I'm not really sure, but honestly, within the last 5 or 6 years or so, I've really gotten into it. Just the music and the animation, and The Hobbit is my favorite of Tolkien's books. I mean, Lord of the Rings is obviously great, but The Hobbit I can read a lot more because it's shorter and it's a little easier to digest. But that makes sense. It is a children's story. Yeah, anyway, so over the years, I've collected quite a few things for that particular movie, and I wanted to take the time to show them off. All right, so I thought about how best to start this for a while, and I figured the best place to start is at the very beginning, a very good place to start. So, since the movie was originally a TV movie, I thought, well, let's start with a TV guide. I did not really grow up reading these. I mean, I saw them in the checkout line at the supermarket, but I mostly just read what they had in the paper each week to find out what was going to be on. But these, I think used to be all the rage. So this is from the week, actually a little bit before The Hobbit came out. We can see it's from November 19th to the 25th of 1977. We got old Blue Eyes staring at us from the front, but he's not what we're here to see. If we go just inside, we can see a nice spread about the movie. We got some shots of the characters. We can see they're all nicely labeled. We get a little blurb, which carries on into the next page. You can see the Goblin King and the Eagles, and we can see right there, it aired on Sunday, November 27th, 1977. Yeah, so it's pretty neat. Honestly, it just kind of was neat to just look through these old TV guides and the ads and all of that. But yeah, so we got that. So on to the actual movie. Now, I have the movie on what I believe is every format it was released on. If I'm incorrect, I would definitely appreciate being told that in the comments because I'm trying to track them all down. I don't have every iteration of what it was released on because there's several different VHS and DVD releases. I don't need all of those. I just have like one, maybe two of each. All right, so starting at the beginning, we've got the clamshell, Warner Brothers Classic Tales. Pretty good. It starts out with an ad for their Classic Tales line, talking about some other movies in that line. We got the tape itself. Pretty standard clamshell, kind of Disney style. It's not bad. Certainly protects the tape, although these things can get pretty beat up, pretty yellowed. I think this one I bought another cheap clamshell tape from Goodwill and just tossed the tape and then replaced the one that originally came with this. So yeah, it's pretty nice. This next one is also VHS, but it is a little special because it's been graded. I did not grade this. I'm not really into grading stuff, but I was at a video game swap meet of all places, and somebody had this on their table, and I was like, well, that's too strange to pass up. This is my special interest. I don't think I'm ever going to find one of these just out in the wild. So I plopped down, I think he was asking like $100 for it. And now I have it. It's just, a nice little display piece. I don't think VHS DNA exists anymore, but they gave it an 8.5, although I don't know if I quite agree with that. We can see on the side here, got some pretty noticeable sun fading. It is sealed, and we got like the, the tape and the watermark or whatever it is on the seal itself. But yeah, it's just a nice little piece. I kind of like the stand it's on. Yeah, it's not bad. All right, starting with I should have said in the beginning, I'm starting with the kind of the common video formats and then moving on to the more, I guess, obscure, less popular ones. So next we have DVD. We've got this little trapper case, similar, same artwork as that one. Pretty standard. I'm not the biggest fan of these trapper cases just because I like the ability to replace a case if it gets busted up, whereas, with these ones, the artwork is the case. It's inseparable. So that's frustrating. Although I did find one time I got a movie where somebody had just ripped this piece off and just stuck it in like a regular DVD case. So I guess I'm not alone in that sentiment. But yeah, it's not bad at all. Although at this point, if you know anything about the history of this movie, you will know that from this point on, I think, basically, the sound mix that is used for all future releases after like VHS era is just completely, I mean, it's not completely, but it isn't complete. There we go. It's not complete. If you remember watching it growing up, maybe on TV or VHS or whatever, and you go back and you watch it, one of these DVD or like on streaming sites, what have you, you may notice, or you might notice that, there's some sound effects missing or just some silence when there shouldn't be. And that's because, to my guess, is they used an incomplete mix when they did future home video releases and the streaming release. So there's times when there's either just not complete silence, but there should be more sound effects, like in the beginning where the dwarves are singing. There's times when there should be like sound effects of like plates clinking and silverware clinking, and there's not. And the other example is when they're in the barrels and Bilbo's riding on top of the barrel with Thorin in it. In the original sound mix, you can hear like Thorin banging against the barrel and saying, "Let me out," or whatever. And like when Bilbo talks, he's responding to him. Whereas in this, you don't hear Thorin speaking. And so it's just like Bilbo's talking to himself. So that is, it's frustrating. And like, different sound effects, like when they kill the goblins or the spiders, there's supposed to be this kind of weird, kind of funky sound effect playing, which is just completely not in these later releases, or, most of the releases, basically. To that end, we go on to the next one. We have this. So this is like kind of a more recent release, but that's just the packaging. What's actually in here is my crappily written burned DVD of a fan edit. Now, there's a couple fan edits for this movie. Both the goal of them basically is to take the nicer quality picture from these DVD and later releases and pair that with the soundtrack, like the mix from these VHS releases. So there's a couple of them. Originally, I had one called Hi-Fi Hobbit, and that one's pretty good. It was brought to my attention there were a couple things that it had. I don't want to say messed up. That sounds mean, but a couple slight imperfections in the audio mix, and so I found this other one called HD Hobbit. All of these can be found on archive.org if you look them up. I strongly recommend this. You just get all the goodness of the superior video quality, and then you get the complete mix all in one package. And I just, whipped up together, burned it onto a DVD with a little menu and stuff. So It's nice. It's nice. It's really nice to have that option. Honestly, unless I'm feeling nostalgic for like the VHS tape or something, this is my go-to version to watch. So yeah, highly suggested. And this next one is one that version I didn't know existed until I think last year. Yeah, let's just get into it. We have the Blu-ray. And if you can't tell by the title, this was not originally released in the US. In fact, to my knowledge, there is no US release of the Blu-ray. So this is one that I found when I was just scrolling on eBay, because every so often I'll just, type in The Hobbit 1977 and see what all kind of stuff. Oh, sorry for bumping the tripod. See what all kind of stuff I can find, and I found this. So this was released in Spain. Luckily, it has the English. So it has the English audio track and then a whole bunch of different subtitles, but it also has the Spanish. So I had my fingers crossed. I knew it wasn't going to be the case, but I was hoping that they used the better version, but it might be, I don't know, a licensing thing, or I don't want to say laziness. So it's probably a licensing thing where they couldn't get the better mix. So yeah, it's just upscaled, I'm assuming. Looks pretty good, but yeah, it's the kind of crappy. It's the same old audio track. Interesting. I didn't watch the whole thing in Spanish. I watched, bits of it, just kind of going back and forth just to see what it sounds like. I should probably sit down and watch the whole thing, just because I've basically memorized what the script is almost. But what's interesting is that they use a different mix. It's not like it's, the exact same audio mix as this, just with Spanish. It's a slightly different mix. So there's like different songs going on in the background on the Spanish track than there would be on the English track, and I think maybe different sound effects. So I'm wondering if they just didn't have access to the English, and so they just kind of the original English, track without the audio, without the English audio. There's a specific word for that, but I don't remember. And so they just kind of had to make do with what they got. So that's kind of interesting. I should sit down and just watch this in Spanish just to see what that's like. It's kind of like, watching the Japanese dub of anything turns it into an anime. I don't know what that would mean for the Spanish. Oh man, it'd be cool to get the Japanese dub of this, if that exists. All right, so those are, you got your standard releases, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. So now on to the more, I guess, obscure, although if you're in these media spaces, it's not super obscure because you've heard these, but a little bit less popular. We have the Betamax. Now, as you can see, this was originally just like a paper sleeve, and somebody cut it up and stuck it inside of this clamshell. I've been tempted to get an unaltered version of this that's just the regular paper sleeve, but I don't know. This is fine. I don't even have a Betamax player. We have the tape here. Pretty standard stuff. Yeah, just a nice little thing to have. Next, we have this bad boy. Now, this might be a brand new format to some of you. This is the RCA Select-O-Vision. It kind of looks like a Laserdisc, but it is not. It is an interesting format. This is the only thing I have in this format. Again, I don't have a player for it, so I don't even know if it works. But what you get is there's a big old disc in here inside of this caddy, and what you would do is you would shove the whole cartridge in the player. It would take the disc out, and then you would pull out the empty cartridge, and then you would reverse the process when you want to get it back. So it is kind of neat that, you don't have to touch the disc, because that's, it's a big thing, especially with vinyl records. Don't touch the grooves. So kind of reminds me of those old, like, I think when CD-ROM drives were first coming out, they've got, like, you put the CDs in a caddy, and then you put the caddy in the drive. But yeah, so I'm assuming like these two and the third format I got use like the original audio mix. I don't know. It's not really worth it to me to buy one. Like if somebody has one, I could maybe borrow it. But yeah, so that's just neat. I wish there was a Laserdisc release of this, because that would be cool. On Laserdisc database, they just have this version, the Select-O-Vision. So maybe it does exist and it's just not detailed there. I don't know. But yeah, again, if any of you all know of any other format this was released on, once we get the last one, then please let me know, because I would love to get it. Okay, last version. This one I got, I think, just this year, maybe end of last year. And that is Video 8. Now, I'm fairly familiar with the Video 8 format, because it's what the format that my parents' video camera, I can't think of the term, you know what I'm talking about, camcorder, there we go, used. And they released commercial movies on this. It's actually pretty neat, just another format. I think mostly Video 8 was used for like movies on airplanes, because it's a nice little compact cassette, certainly easier to deal with than those, and even the Betamax. But yeah, so they released The Hobbit. This is a pretty nice condition version of it, and so if you look at it, yeah, it's just a Video 8 cartridge. It looks basically exactly the same as the one you would get to record a birthday or a play or whatever. So on here we've got a label. I don't know how to use the focus on this thing. So yeah, it's basically just Video 8 cartridge with a label on it. And in here we've got the little, please tell us about who you are so we can sell you more junk. And that's that. Oh, and there's this little thing on the side, this little label on the side. Oh, 10/7/85. Maybe that's when this was released. I don't know. Anyway, that's neat. Okay, so that is all 6 formats that this movie was released on, to my knowledge. If you know of any more, please tell me, because I would love to find out. Okay, one more thing. One more kind of version of the movie. It's the same format. But I found this earlier this year. This is, again, The Hobbit. But this, I believe, was sold to schools. So it's interesting that Xerox was behind that. If we go ahead and open this, easier said than done. Come on, there we go. Okay. We get into this, we can see your teaching guide to The Hobbit. So this is, well, they'd show this in the classroom, and then they'd have, some questions to quiz the students about, like, what they think. Let's see, what did some of these say? What's your favorite adventure story in a fantasy? Various other things. We got the synopsis, questions before you see the movie, questions after, general information about it. Well, that's a lot of questions. Follow-up activities, related reading. Oh, Watership Down. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, it's just like a teaching guide for how to use this movie in the classroom. And I just thought that was lifetime replacement guarantee. Wow. I thought that was just really neat. I would have loved to have have seen this movie as a kid. I don't know what. I don't think it says what age range. So maybe this would have been like I don't know, middle school, maybe high school, maybe elementary. I really don't know. And then in here we've got some, I think just some like flash. No, I don't think these are flashcards. I think these are these like library cards. Oh, catalog cards. Yeah, that's what it says at the bottom there. Yeah, so maybe these are for the library. I don't know. Anyway, it's nifty. And then finally we have the tape itself, which actually now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't actually. Oh, there it says The Hobbit on the side there. I have not actually tested this out. I think based on what the seller told me, it's just the movie. There's no like. I was kind of hoping there'd be like pause now and ask the students about such and such, because that would be cool. But I think it's just the movie. I should verify that. It's probably just this, but without the other Warner Brothers commercials. So yeah, that was a neat little find. Again, I saw it on eBay one day and was like, I'm probably never gonna find something like this again, so I should just go ahead and grab it. All right, so that we've got the movies, and what else comes with movies is the soundtrack. So the soundtrack for this movie has been actually released many times and in many ways. Let's start with the most common. Let's get some stuff out of the way. Spoilers, whatever. Here we have a Disneyland. There was, I think most of these were published through Disneyland Records. Here we have the kind of storybook. We open it up. It's pretty nice. Just, very stills and other artwork from the movie. Pretty good copy that my sister got me, I think for Christmas or birthday or something. There's a strange picture of Gollum there with his eyes closed. Yeah, so this isn't bad. With what's interesting though is with most of these soundtrack releases, you would, most soundtracks, it's just, like the songs from the movie. Whereas with these, for some reason, it's the audio, like the actual audio from the movie. So it's got the voices, the sound effects, all that stuff. It's kind of funky. And then obviously the record goes in there. Actually, what's in there? Oh, here we go. Little information card. Neato. Yeah, so that's pretty standard. And then we got the record itself, which is, just no nonsense black. Pretty good. Little image of Bilbo there. So that's one you'll see quite a bit. Pretty standard one. Then the next one is a little fancier. So this is a 2-disc box set, complete original soundtrack. Yeah, it says it right there, including dialogue, music, and songs. So I think the previous release was like a cut down version, whereas this is just the whole movie, including special edition book. It's interesting that they only mention the book. Not for sale or broadcast outside of the United States of America. Oh no. Yeah, 16-page book. Well, it's not just the book, actually. Sure, we got the book here. I think this is. Pretty sure this is exactly the same as the little booklet on the previous one. Yeah. So yeah, we got that. Mine's not in the best condition. It's got some weird, like, I don't know if somebody like drew on this and then tried to erase it. Yeah. And then we got the 2-disc set of the soundtrack. So this box set originally also came with a poster and some like iron-on, not patches, but just like things where you like iron them on and it leaves an image. Obviously my version does not come with that. I've thought about getting it. That would be neat, but I don't know if that would be worth it. It's kind of expensive. I might get it eventually. But yeah, so there's that. Now this box set, there's versions of it that just come with the 2 records, but there's also another version that came with what you would originally think of as a soundtrack, where it's just the songs, but it didn't come in like any sort of fancy sleeve. The songs on this movie were made by Glenn Yarbrough. So there are some versions of this that come with that disc just kind of in there. It's like, I don't even think it's really mentioned. But there was also a standalone release in this lovely green sleeve. So yeah, we got original songs featuring Glenn Yarbrough. So, you know, The Greatest Adventure, which I think is the only original song. All the other ones were ones that Tolkien had written. But yeah, we got this nice green album cover. I think this is probably one of the more expensive. Yeah, it's similar sort of label as, or exact same label as the ones in the previous box set release. But on here we've got The Greatest Adventure, you know, all the good songs from the movie, including I think at least one, Old Fat Spider, which does not show up in the movie. I'm not sure if it was ever planned to and just cut out, or if they made it and knew it was never going to be in there. But yeah, I'm super glad to have this. This was kind of a more expensive record to get, but I'm super happy to have it. All right, a few more soundtrack things. There were a couple of these like storybook ones. One was released on tape, where it's, you know, you put the tape in. I think it's the exact same thing on both sides, and it would play sound effects and talk about it, and you'd follow along in the book, and there'd be like a chime to go, okay, go to the next page. I'm sure a lot of kids grew up like reading these and listening to these. This is obviously before my time, but yeah, it's just pretty neat. Although it's interesting, well, yeah, it's pretty neat. So I think how this was originally packaged is this didn't come in like a case or anything. I added that just to protect it. It was just like together in like not a shrink wrap, just like, you know, packaged together just like this. And I think that's kind of strange. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, I guess it was a pretty low budget release, so they didn't even bother giving it a case. But yeah, so we got that, and then we have the exact same thing on 45. Same booklet. We got the little Disneyland. Yeah, it's the... Oh, wait. I think it is a little bit different. Song and story. Okay. Misty Mountains. Greatest Adventure. All right. Yeah, so it's, you know, exact same book. Just got, you know, the record which originally go in there. But I like to keep these things in good condition. So it's in its own sleeve. So we got that. There's not been... That's it for like official soundtrack releases. Unless there's others, please tell me if you know of any. Whatever. Do that later. Know any other releases? But there is a guy on Etsy whose name escapes me, unfortunately. he was sort of given, I don't know about legal control, but he's just kind of like the Rankin Bass guy who kind of like the main historian and all that. Anyway, he puts out these CD releases on his Etsy page, and I got the one for The Hobbit. So it's the exact same as that other green release, but it's on CD. Oop. And it's not the best case, but what you can do. So yeah, it's, you know, not the best quality, just kind of printed out on printer paper. The Hobbit and more. I don't remember what else is on here. I think maybe it's, well, on the Etsy page, it's like a combo of this, the soundtrack to this, and the CD soundtrack to Return of the King, which is the other like Tolkien movie that Rankin Bass animated. That might also be on here. I think it might be a different release too, or like a different CD. So I don't remember what else is on here, but at the very least you get these songs, and it's nice. I mean, this is probably the only sort of release we're gonna get for this soundtrack on CD. Like I doubt we're gonna get anything officially. I don't think the Tolkien estate particularly likes this, and neither did critics, I think. At least the ones that I have seen, you know, official critics. Obviously, there's YouTube videos of people quite enjoying this film. But kind of on that note, a similar sort of thing, I wanted to show this. This is The Annotated Hobbit by Douglas A. Anderson. Really great book. Highly suggest it if you love The Hobbit like I do, but you don't particularly want to read the history of The Hobbit, which is like, kid you not, like this thick. I don't have it anymore. I started to read it. It's just it's a lot, but this you get like a little more digestible. It's the book, and in here there's like, you know, let's see, where's it good? Okay, here we go. So we've got the center columns are the you know, the original text, and then we have all these notes on the side talking about the different revisions and even the different like international releases of the book. We got some cool artwork from the different editions of the book. It's just really neat. But I wanted to point out, because there's a couple points where the author, or you know, the editor here, Douglas A. Anderson, points out the animated 1977 special, where here in the introduction we can see he says these have been followed by various other reworkings, including a truly execrable 1977 television program based on the book, which, you know, it's this. So I had to look up what execrable means. I have no shame in that. There are a lot of words out there. Basically, it means just really, really bad. So I do not agree with him on that. But, you know, what are you going to do? And then also here, go over to this page. This is on Battle of the Five Armies. We can see here the five armies are specified as the elves, men, and dwarves on the one side and goblins and wolves on the other. Strangely, in the 1977 Rankin Bass animated television program of The Hobbit, the five armies specifically include the eagles instead of the wolves. This lapse is a very minor transgression compared to the major failings of that production. So yeah, he did not much care for this. I highly doubt the Tolkien estate did either. Tolkien himself probably would have hated it, but oh well, I love it. And that's all that I need. But anyway, yeah, despite the that criticism, I highly suggest this book if you're interested in you know, a little more info about The Hobbit. It's just it's a very nice read. Okay, so we got a few more things left. Since we're already on the topic of books, let's move over to this, which is kind of my crown jewel. This is the illustrated version of The Hobbit that came out, I believe, the same time as the movie, or, you know, roundabouts. This was the hardback. There was also a paperback version. I don't know that I really need to get that. But yeah, though, this is really neat. We've got like the dust jacket. Looks like an animation cell. We got Smaug, or as he's called in the movie, Smaug. It's kind of funny. On the front there, and we got him, you know, sleeping with one eye open. Bilbo in the corner there. This is really a cool book. I got it for a pretty good deal back in the day. It's I mean, we'll get into it, but it's falling apart, unfortunately. I think it's just, you know, it's a big, heavy book. The binding might not even been that great to begin with, so most of the ones you'll see online are just, they're falling apart. But yeah, in here we've got, it's an illustrated version of The Hobbit. Got a nice big, here, let's get a little more room. Here we go. Nice big thing of Smaug. You'll see there are several different art styles in this, which is kind of neat. Like, normally illustrated versions of the book, it's just all one artist, but this one has several. So some of these you'll see, I mean, we'll get into it. So we got the Goblin King. This just kind of looks like a still. And if we go in over here, we can see all the artists, all the illustrators rather, that gave their work to this book. So quite a few different Japanese names there too, which makes sense. I guess I forgot to mention this movie was animated in Japan. I think I don't know about all, but most of Rankin Bass's stuff, even like, you know, the famous Christmas stuff, was done in Japan. Actually, the studio that did this movie, Topcraft, several of their members went on to form Studio Ghibli, which is pretty neat. So yeah, we got obviously the map of the Lonely Mountain. We got this nice big one of Mirkwood. Yeah, this is pretty neat. There were a few things that I picked out to show. We have The Last Homely House. They're in Rivendell with Elrond. I really like this artist's depiction of Gandalf. That looks really cool, and Bilbo looks kind of funky. But yeah, there's some fantastic artwork in here. Some of this is just like, I mean, this one page is just like stills from the movie. Otherwise, you've got various different artists. Some pages, let's see if I can find an example, have what look like storyboards. So I'm wondering if these are like the actual storyboards, although I don't know if storyboards aren't usually in color. So it's like they made kind of storyboard lookalikes, I'm assuming specifically for this book, which is kind of neat. And we got that. We've got this, which is interesting. So if you've seen the movie, which I'm assuming you have, you'll know that there are a few things that they had to cut out from the story. One of those is the whole thing with Beorn and all of his animals and stuff. But in here we can see an illustrated version of Beorn. I am not sure if he was originally going to be in the movie, or if he was never going to be in there and they just made this because, you know, you're illustrating the whole book, so obviously you got to have him. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's cool to see him. If we go a couple more pages over, we can see his handiwork with the head of the goblin and then the wolf strung up on the tree, which, I mean, I don't think they would have put that in the movie, but it's cool to see it here. We have a few other things. Oh yeah, what's also neat about this book is there's a few of these like ginormous fold-out spreads. So we've got, you know, We've got the dwarves being accosted by the wood elves in this nice big spread. Looking fantastic. And if we go a little further in, we've got another cut piece from the movie. We got the Arkenstone looking very spirography, although with a little too straight lines. I don't know. Reminds me of spirograph. That's cool. We've got the Bilbo meeting with that guy. Shoot, what's his name? I don't remember. From Lake Town. Then we got the Elf King, the Wood Elf King, looking very gangly. And a few more things I want to show. Another big spread. We've got the big battle at the end with the goblins and the wolves and the men and the elves and the dwarves. Pretty cool. I don't know why some of the goblins are blue and then there's this green one. And they don't look like that in the movie. But, you know, artist interpretation, it looks fantastic all the same. Really, really cool stuff. Really glad I got this book. This is definitely not like the regular reading. I just have this as a nice display piece. It's falling apart. And we got one last one. I thought this was really cute. This looking, just sort of, kind of reminds me of like A.A. Milne's, or I don't think she was the one. Whoever illustrated the original like Winnie the Pooh books, that kind of scratchy style just reminds me of that. We got, you know, Bilbo and Gandalf there. I thought that was really neat. So yeah, there's that. There's that. Nice book. Probably the crown jewel of my collection here, honestly. And then one of the last pieces we got here is a poster. Not a still from the movie, but you know, one of the other artists in the book. Bilbo Baggins there. We got some text at the bottom. Rankin and Bass. Oh, Xerox Educational. Okay. I guess they had some hand in the movie's production. But yeah, this is really nice. Normally it's up in my bedroom. I got this nice green frame for it that I thought looked pretty good. Yeah, glad to have it. Okay, so that is almost everything. The last couple things are something that I got in just this week. And when I heard about it, I had to have it last year. And that is these little figures put out by Dark Horse. We got Bilbo, we got Gollum, and man, these things look fantastic. I don't normally go for, like, I don't know, I'm not big into figures or anything, the occasional, but I had to have these. These are like, you know, 100% up my alley. They look really good. The sculpt and the paint is fantastic. We got Gollum, and we got Bilbo with his pipe and his hairy feet. They just look so cool. Both of these have interchangeable hands, so Bilbo has one hand with his pipe, and then he's got another hand with his sword. And Gollum has one hand with the fishy fish, and then one where I think it's just empty or closed or something. Yeah, these are really cool. If I had to complain, Gollum doesn't quite stand super flat on his feet. He's got a little bit of a wobble. But you know, it's not too bad. Bilbo's pose is kind of strange. When he has his sword arm attached, it makes a little more sense. He's kind of like lunging forward with his sword, with like his other arm back. But when he's got his pipe, it looks kind of funky, like he's reaching out to give you his pipe or something. I would have expected, I don't know, something a little more like this poster, or, you know, various other stills from the movie. But yeah, that's just super nitpicky. Anyway, these are fantastic. Even the boxes that they came in are super cool. They like continue the style from the movie. We can see him here with his sword. Yeah, Dark Horse put these out. They're really, really neat. We got the bigger one of Gollum. Looking especially pudgy in this shot with his stomach and his fish. But yeah, that's everything. Thank you for taking the time to check this out. This is something, a video I'd been wanting to make for a while, and I'm glad that I finally got around to it. So have a great day.